Cool. Yeah, it's just loading up here. I never know when I never know when a live is actually live either. There's always like a delay of like 20
Well,
seconds. So,
yeah, it's even more confusing because, yeah, you're on Zoom and then you hear yourself talking back on Facebook, which can be
yes.
quite disconcerting.
Yeah, I think I'm getting that now. Yeah, it looks like we are indeed live now. I'm just gonna oh, I can hear myself twice. So I never know when a live
You
is
just
actually
need to mute
live. Okay, I
yourself.
can still hear myself, yeah. Okay, perfect. My
Cool.
voice is good. All right, looks like we are live. So yeah, that's great. Awesome. I'm gonna go to Zoom now to stop that double voice thing going on. But yeah, if you're in the Music Schools Growth Formula, guys, thanks for joining us here with we got Vicki Workman here just to chat about her experience. She's kindly come on to talk about her recent experience with the program that I run, which is the Studio Ascending Sequence, and she's just going to chat about all of that stuff. So thanks very much for doing this, Vicki.
No worries. No worries.
Cheers. So I guess it would be normal to just if you could introduce yourself, like who you are and what you do and where you are and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I run a guitar school. I've been teaching myself for about 15 years in total now, and have been running more of a business, I suppose, with multiple students and multiple teachers for about 5, 6 years. A couple of years ago, we joined the G4 Guitar Network, which is a franchise specifically for guitar teachers, which is great because it uses a kind of structured method for students of different ages. So we've been using that, and that on its own has really helped improve what we've been able to teach to our students and how they've been, the amount of progress they've been able to make as well. I live in Brighton in the UK, but the school itself was until very recently based in Croydon in South London.
Yeah, awesome. By the way, that was kind of interesting that you were like you didn't consider yourself a business for the first 10 years and then you went into business, is that right?
Well, the first, I would say, 5 years or so was really just me trying different stuff out. So, I knew that I wanted to do something with music. I knew I didn't want to work in an office anymore, which I had been doing. And I was trying out various different things. So, private teaching, I was running, music workshops for little kids, dressing up as a children's entertainer and doing like children's parties. And yeah, it was only really in about 2010, 2011 that I thought, actually, it's guitar teaching. That's the thing that I'm most interested in and that I want to do. And then, yeah, it was one of those things, it just kind of grew. And I got to the point where I had more students than I could really teach. So then I started taking on other teachers and teaching in groups, and it grew from there.
Was that like I know this is obviously completely before we met each other, but
Yeah.
when you went to that point where you had too many students to deal with on your own,
Yeah.
was that like a big moment that you had to work with, or was it easy for you to think, okay, I need to hire someone or I need to expand here, or like was it a natural thing, or was it something that you had to work through? Um, yeah.
Uh, no, I kind of came to the realization because I was still traveling to people's houses at that point. So I was doing 1 hour private guitar lessons at people's houses. I could just about fit in, somewhere between 20 and 30 students a week. Obviously factoring in the travel time and everything. And I was having to turn people away. So I thought, well, I could either just carry on like this, or I can try and leverage this a bit more. So then I started teaching groups and hiring a premises, and obviously from there it became more and more professional. It became more and more like a business. But
Okay.
yeah, it was a learning curve. The whole idea of teaching groups absolutely petrified me when I first started doing it. But you know, is fine now.
It's funny as musicians, we so I still get that. Even doing this kind of interview style is a new thing, and I know it's just theoretically it's just a chat between us, but there's still the I guess the fear of being in front of people, and it's weird as a musician because
Yeah.
we usually play on stage. How would you compare the two states of teaching then, like when you were going to people's houses and now where you've got or where you were using premises and expanding into that sort of more professional avenue?
Um, Well, I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing, Liam, when it was all those early students. It was all kind of experimentation. I mean, I think my heart was in the right place, and I wanted to do a good job. But I wasn't really using a method or a structure or anything. I was kind of winging it, and in terms of things like lesson policies and stuff like that. I learned a lot in those early years about trusting people and putting boundaries in place, and making sure that people are paying you. I mean, I can remember things like turning up to someone's house and there's just no one being there. I've spent half an hour travelling there, probably another half an hour travelling to my next lesson. So not only have I not been paid for that lesson, I've also lost out on that travelling time. And I think I realised pretty quick, um, unless I start looking and behaving a bit more professionally, this kind of thing's going to keep on happening. And I know that it still does, because, unless we put these boundaries and these policies in place, there is always going to be people who are going to not take it as seriously and want to take the mick out of us, really.
Yeah, okay. No, I totally get that. God, that would suck turning up and the person's not even there.
That happened
Jeez.
to me a few times, yeah.
Oh God. Well, so the G4 guys that you're working with now, that's like a franchise, right?
Correct, yeah.
And that did that help you with the policies and the boundaries and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I already had a lot of that in place, to be honest, before I joined um, G4. I was a member of another program for a while, which, got me feeling okay about the idea of teaching groups. So yeah, I already had a lot of that in in place. I think what G4 did was it filled in that gap because I had the policies, but and I created a lot of my own teaching material at that point, but I still didn't feel 100% confident that what we were teaching was really the right thing. And now we've got that whole package, and I'm much more confident about that.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. Awesome. So, like, Vicky, then bringing us up to kind of where we met, and what was the situation like just before we met in terms of your, your school, your marketing, and just the general situation?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we had the similar situation to pretty much everybody really back in March. We had to close our school down. We went online like a lot of people did, and it was kind of bittersweet because on the one hand, I was absolutely terrified that all our students were going to leave, and there would be no money for me or the teachers, and all that hard work would be gone. But on the other side of things, I actually found myself initially with a lot more time because it's quite a long commute from where I live into my studio.
Mm.
Um, and then also we actually gave our studio up. It was quite, the premises were quite expensive, and I think once I realised that this wasn't just going to go on for a couple of months and then we'd all be back to normal, I actually gave notice in at our premises, and suddenly I had more time and more money to invest in the business. So um, I thought, well, I can't do anything else really. So I'm actually going to spend this time doing things that I'd been always meant to do, but had just never found the time. One of them was investing more in marketing, um, you know, investing both my time and money in marketing. Obviously, we'd been doing some. And then the other was, well, if we're going to be online for a while, let's make this online program as good as we can so that, when we sell it, we can sell it not only to people who are specifically looking for online lessons, but also people who are perhaps a bit unsure, so we can kind of help them to understand that actually, you know, the process itself is still the same. We're just seeing you through a screen rather than in the same room.
Yeah, yeah, it does seem that you know, there's like I guess at the beginning there was a lot of doubt about whether this Zoom stuff can work. I don't know if you're using Zoom or something else, by the
Yeah,
way.
we are
Yeah,
using Zoom,
yeah, and there was a lot of doubt at the time, but it seems like, you know, it's pretty damn good when it can be done well and with thought and care, it seems to me. Um, so how do you, by the way, how do you feel about giving up the rental space now? You know, that decision, did you make it very early on into the COVID pandemic?
I think it was about May time, to be
Hmm.
honest. Yeah, I don't know. It was like, it was a blessing in disguise, I think, because the premises itself, we were in serviced offices, which, you know, in London, which were expensive. I mean, obviously not in terms of the going rate, but in terms of what we were doing and the amount of money that we had spent, things were very, very tight, to the point where I wasn't really taking any money myself
Right.
at that point. So, you know, I thought at that point I'd already realised that we'd kept most of our students, and I was feeling a little bit more secure about everything. And I thought, well, actually, you know, we're going to save ourselves a couple of grand a month here, so let's just pull the plaster off and do it. And now, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have a location, but I'm not rushing into anything, because you know, my priority at the moment is to focus on the online stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm totally glad the way it turned out for you, where you pulled that band-aid off and allowed that money to go back into your pocket rather than the landlord's pocket.
Yeah,
Because yeah, it's something that you can figure out just when you need it, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, at the very first sign that things are going back to normal, it's kind of something that can be figured out pretty quickly, isn't it? I think. Um,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Well, so why did you end up, you know, why did you decide to end up working with me then, Vicky, when we actually did start working together?
So yeah, well, I already had the time and the money, and I was actually thinking about branching out into Google ads, because I'd been running some Facebook ads for a while, and they were okay, but um, I I was always kind of frustrated with the caliber of the leads coming through. You know, with Facebook ads, you often spend a lot of time just trying to get someone on the phone. You know, they put the inquiry in and then they disappear.
Mm.
So I was actually looking at Google, YouTube, stuff like that. Um, but I wanted to do something different that I hadn't done before, and then you contacted me, and I thought, oh, you know, I'll see what you're offering. And it was Facebook ads and the automation stuff, and it was all stuff that I'd either tried to do myself or had been meaning to do myself, but just hadn't done very well, or hadn't had the time to look into it. So it was kind of right place, right time, really, Liam. I guess I was in what we would call the buying mode. I was ready to buy, and I just needed someone to sell me something that I thought would be useful for us. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking about whether it's been useful for you guys, yeah, like what was your experience been and the kind of results that you've gotten so far?
Yeah, so far, it's, I mean, it has been a massive learning curve, and I have had to put a lot of time into it. Um, but you know, it's all been good stuff, really. And certainly compared to the ads that I was running before, and my knowledge of the ads that I was running before just kind of showed me how little I knew, really. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's actually been pretty successful in that I had to stop the ads because I was running out of time to to deal with all the inquiries, and B, we actually ended up pretty much filling up our existing schedule. I mean, give or take a couple of kind of, you know, non-peak times. So far it's been going really well. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it.
That does sound pretty good, Vicky. If I can just like dig a little deeper there then. So, you know, you filled up the studio, you know, with students, which is awesome. Like from the moment you know, switched on your ads and started running them to the point where you'd actually filled up your studio, how long would that be, do you think?
Well, I just finalised the last one booking in today. So I would say all in, just looking at the date, about 3 weeks, something like that.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
How long were you running ads for before we met?
Oh, on and off, I would say a couple of years.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Not
3 weeks versus 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So like let's talk you know, numbers then. If we can, if you know, that would be interesting, I think. So you know, how many students did you actually pick up in the last 3 weeks then?
So I literally just booked the last one in. I mean, I think I've got one or two who are keen to sign up, but I'm going to have to put them back to January now. 12, looking at it. Yeah, 12
12.
from running those ads. Yeah.
Jeez, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's 4 students every week, right? Or
Pretty
it's
much.
more like 1 student signing up every other day.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty
How do you
happy
feel
with.
about that?
Yeah, well, it's great, you know, and if I'd had more time, I think this is the thing now. It's a little frustrating because I could have just carried on, but I just thought, well, what's the point of keeping running these ads if I can't actually take these people on until January? So, I'm having a bit of a breather now, and then I'm going to run another set of ads advertising gift vouchers, see if we can get some of those out ready for Christmas, and then probably do another push in the new year. But I guess it's made me realise that unless I get some help or create some new lesson slots, then there's not going to be any point in running these ads again. So obviously that's what I want to do. Why not? I've
Yeah.
realised it's pretty easy to do. So I just need to create the systems now to actually be able to take these people on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like that's going to the next step then is like figuring out new spots which people can actually teach. It sounds like you're getting pretty busy, so maybe there's, you know, maybe a personal assistant you need or something like that then.
I definitely need a personal assistant. Yeah, you're right. I've needed one of those for a long time. Yeah, that's my project, I think, for January.
All right, that's good to know. So you how many leads did you get in the end then, Vicky? It was 59, wasn't it?
59 in total, yeah.
Awesome. So 59 and you got 12 students from that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, considering half of those people I couldn't even get in contact with to start with, I think I only contacted about 25, 30 of them. So, yeah.
Wow. So let's say 25 just because it sounds better. But 25, you got 12 students. That's like 1 in 2 of all the people you contacted, about half of them became students. That's, a testament to your Facebook ads, but also your sales skill, I would say.
Yeah, well, the sales stuff I've been working on for a good 10 years now. So I would, yeah. So the Facebook ads was just really bringing in those leads, the more quality leads, I guess, as well.
Awesome. Well, do you have any concrete targets that you're aiming for in the future, Vicky? In terms of student base or revenue or anything?
Yeah, I would like to. I've got it up on my wall here. I would like to revenue base bring in 15,000 a month, um, which we're at about 10, probably just over that now actually. Now, and so yeah, that's going to be around about another 60 students, something like
Okay.
that. Um,
So
yeah.
that's about, God, that won't take very long at all, would it? If you get in.
Well, I got it. I got the goal for the end of I think March next year, but hopefully we'll get there before that. But again, it's going to be getting the systems in place to actually take on all of these people. That's the next challenge.
Yeah, well, yeah, and those are all the figure outable things. But
Mm,
I would say the hard part, and well, what I would consider the hard part, and I guess I would, is like finding those students from nowhere and then being able to convert them into your customers. And
yeah,
now it's a piece of just replicating that, but getting a few more hands to help you out.
yeah.
Um, so what sort of struggles did you face then, Vicky, over, this is the program that we're going through now, the studio ascending sequence, like, did you find any struggles or and how did you overcome them?
What, while doing the program,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I had any struggles particularly. The first part where you have to do all the interviews. Um, that was pretty time consuming, and I do remember thinking, oh man, I'm never going to get all these done, and I'm never going to get into the main part of the program. But I'm really glad I did it, because apart from anything else, it helped me strengthen um, um, relationships with a lot of our parents and students, especially as I haven't been able to see them in person. We've been doing it all online. But no, I think because everything, I am a bit of a Luddite, especially when it comes to techie stuff, which is why I haven't been more comfortable doing more of it myself. So what I've really liked is that it's totally idiot proof, like, step by step down to the tiniest detail, and that's the kind of thing that I really need. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm a bit of a procrastinator. So if there's anything that kind of stops me from moving forward, then I'll take that as a barrier. But I found that there wasn't really much of that. And obviously, if there was, I could chat to you, or one of the other guys on the course. So
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad it's idiot proof as well. I mean, that's good to know, because at times I was thinking like, do I really need to put this in? I I will put it
no,
in.
no, 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 absolutely. Like, if in doubt, put it in, because you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad it's turning out useful. So, looking back from where you are now, what advice would you give yourself before starting the program?
Um, I would give myself. I would say make sure that you have the time to do it properly. And I guess because I knew that I did have the time, like, I don't think I would have done this program, Liam, pre-lockdown, because I was just so um, overwhelmed and exhausted with everything. It still would have been a great program to do, but I just wouldn't have had the time to do it. So, like I said, blessing in disguise. It was good. So yeah, I would say make sure you have the time to actually go through everything properly.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a good point. It is, it's got a decent amount of time. Yeah, it does have a lot in there, I think, to take up time. So, yeah, I would say if you are sort of uh, extremely busy like you were pre-COVID, just my 2 cents. That's again, that comes down to that PA, the personal assistant that you could
Yeah.
have to take some of that stuff off, or some other way of like handling that. But yeah, like, okay, well, thanks very much, Vicky. And just to wrap up here, like, what would you say to somebody watching this video who's scared to take their first steps to doing something like this for their music education business?
Well, I would say look at your goals and look at where you are now, and if you're fine and you're happy with the way things are, and you don't need to be getting new students, then fair enough. And similarly, if you're happy with the way that your ads are running, and you've got experience in doing that and you understand everything you're doing, then again, probably not for you. But if you're like me, you're not a marketer, you're a music teacher, there are probably lots of things you need help with. Again, as long as you've got the time to do it, and obviously it is an investment, but for me it's an investment that is already paying off, and I know will continue to pay off, because I don't even think I'm halfway through the program. Am I, Liam? I'm not,
No,
not even
there's
sure.
more to go.
Yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, then I would say, why not? Because you know if you've with business, you kind of need to be investing if you want to grow. And that, and up until recently I just didn't have the spare money to invest, so i'm glad I'm glad that I did. And yeah, no, I think it's a great step-by-step course for people like me who had absolutely no idea of what I was doing, so I would say go for it.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to hear your testament there. Thanks a lot, Vicky.
No worries.
Um, I I just this is news to me today, because before I thought you only had 8 students, and now you tell me you've got 12 students, which is
Yeah, I
all.
signed a bunch up. Yes, well, a couple of payments came in over the weekend, so
And so you're saying that already the investment's paying off. Could we do
yeah.
something silly here and just see what the customer lifetime value is worth to you?
Give it
That,
a go.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
that's the numbers I like to see.
Okay.
So currently that's expected sort of student revenue from those 12 students
Hmm.
looks to be about 11,000 pounds.
Something like that. Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
good, pretty good.
That's not bad, is it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, it's been awesome to chat to you today, Vicky. Is there anything else that you'd like to, mention or say or ask?
Um, no. I guess one thing that people might be wondering is kind of how the program would fit in to, because obviously everyone's different. People teach different instruments. People's schools are different sizes. Sometimes it's just a solo teacher. Um, and I would say that it's also, like, as much as you get step-by-step stuff, it's also pretty adaptable, to the way that you're already running your business. I mean, certainly there have been some things that that I've that I've either adapted, or that I thought, actually I don't need to use
Yeah.
that. So yeah, like if you're thinking, oh, is this going to turn me into doing something that isn't me, or that I don't feel
Mhm.
comfortable with, it's not like that. You can kind of take the course, um, and apply it in the way that feels best for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for sort of highlighting that. Yeah, I tried to make it so it's sort of I guess it's got the lowest common denominator at heart, and so if you don't have um, even something simple like a payment processor, such as
Mm.
like Stripe or PayPal. That's just. But obviously, I can expect that most people would have that. Yeah, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of adaptability to it if you've already got that kind of stuff set up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, great. Well, thanks a lot for doing this, Vicky. It was really awesome to chat with you once again. I'm looking forward to seeing what becomes of the next half of the program for you,
Yeah, me too.
and getting you to that revenue goal by March, but hopefully sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely, Liam. Thank you very much.
All right, Vicky. Catch you later.
No worries. Take care
Have
then.
a good
Cheers.
day. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.